Welcome to our third webinar in the series of CloudTalk Labs. As usual, we're just going to wait a couple of minutes, and while we're waiting, I will introduce myself. I'm Vera from CloudTalk. I work in the product marketing team, and with me today I have David, our CMO. David, you need to speak so they see you, so maybe just say hi.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me.
Cool. So today we're going to cover voice agents that are picking up inbound calls, especially if you have numbers on your website. Obviously, you can use these for various different use cases, but in this case, we're just going to go through the use case of having numbers on the website. And while we're waiting everyone else to join, the agenda, as usual, is going to be an introduction, the problem that we were trying to solve, some key takeaways, and then the Q&A. Okay, so with that, I'm going to hand over to David to tell us a little bit about the problem and what we were trying to solve, and then we're going to jump into the actual solution.
Thank you, Vera. So the problem that we faced at CloudTalk is, I would say, a very familiar problem to many of you here as well, and it's related to missed phone calls. On average, industries miss between 20 to 25% of inbound phone calls, and that could be both support phone calls or even sales queries. And the case for CloudTalk was similar as well. At CloudTalk, with thousands of customers, we receive tens of thousands of support requests through various channels like email, chat, and phone. And because we strive to deliver excellent customer service, we're always looking for new ways to improve. And one of those is using CloudTalk's own AI voice agents. And after seeing the team become overloaded and calls slip through the cracks, we decided it was time for a change. So what we did is we asked ourselves, how can we best utilize our own technology to provide the best customer experience possible? But it was not only related to provide customer support, but also to avoid potential prospects slipping through the cracks. So what we did is that we deployed the voice agent on all of the phone numbers, all of the phone lines available on our site, and build the logic to identify whether the calling person is an existing customer or a prospect, then qualifying on understanding the needs of the prospect and routing to the respective department or trying to resolve the problem. But with that being said, I don't want to spoil all the solution making because that's something that Vera prepared as well. Vera, back to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, David. So before we jump into the solutioning, I actually want us to test the voice agent. So I will start sharing my screen, my other screen. Just a second. Okay, so I will use actually CloudTalk to call the voice agent on our website. So basically what we are talking about, just so you can visualize it, is we have this call button on the website, and you surely have numbers on the website in the footer or somewhere at the top. And you can also add numbers if you know that there is a voice agent that is there to pick up the calls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the US number, and I'm going to call it through CloudTalk phone, and then I'm going to have a conversation with the voice agent. David, can you just let me know if you're hearing this?
Hello, this is CT, CloudTalk's AI
Yes.
agent. How can I help you?
Hello, I am a CloudTalk customer, and I need help with an integration.
Thanks for reaching out. Just to confirm, are you currently an existing CloudTalk customer with an active paid account? This will help me guide you to the right support.
Yes, I have a paid account.
Great, thank you for confirming. Could you please specify which integration you need help with? For example, are you having trouble connecting with a CRM, help desk, or another tool?
I'm using HubSpot CRM.
Perfect. CloudTalk offers a one-click integration with HubSpot CRM. With this integration, you can click to call contacts directly from HubSpot, and all calls and recordings are automatically logged on the contact timelines. Is there a specific issue or feature related to the HubSpot integration that you need help with?
I don't know how to set it up. Can I speak to a human team? Oops, it broke. Hello, can I speak to a human team?
I understand you'd like to speak with a human team for help setting up your HubSpot integration. I can create a high priority ticket for our support team, and they'll get back to you shortly by email or phone. Alternatively, you can open a chat from your CloudTalk dashboard or email support/cloudtalk.io. Phone support is available only to expert plan customers. Would you like me to create a support ticket for you now, or will you contact the team directly?
Create a support ticket, please.
Of course. I'll need your email address so our team can reach out to you about the HubSpot integration setup. You can say it naturally or spell it out, whichever you prefer.
test@talk.io.
I want to make sure I help you correctly. Could you please provide your email address so I can create a support ticket for you? Just let me know your email and I'll handle the rest.
It's test@cloudtalk.io.
Thank you. To confirm, is your email address test@cloudtalk.io? If that's correct, please let me know, and I'll create the support ticket right away.
Yes, that's correct.
Is there anything else you'd like assistance with today?
No, that's it. Thank you. Okay, I'll stop the share. So there were a couple of hiccups because of my internet connection, but we made it through. So yeah, obviously the voice agent needs to hear you, what you're saying, and you can play around with the actual prompt. We are actually making some improvements in terms of how long it speaks and so on, but let's talk about how we actually built this. Number one, we started with actually deciding what we want to solve, and you heard a little bit about this from David. And so we wanted to offer this to customers, but we also wanted to offer this to browsers who are going on our website and basically just want to learn what CloudTalk is about. So what you heard me do was a customer flow, but what this voice agent is also trained on is a prospect flow. If I'm not a CloudTalk customer, I can actually ask to schedule a demo. So the reason we needed this to be both prospects and customers is because a lot of the customers that don't have the call CloudTalk option in the dashboard might go on the website and decide, okay, this is a way for me to reach human support. And they basically call our phone numbers. We wanted to make sure that we give them some sort of additional experience apart from the chat and email that we already provided. And then from prospects, it's still one of the favorite ways to just find out information very quickly, to just jump on a call. Obviously, if you're working with a sales team, sometimes you need to qualify leads and things like that. So this gave us the perfect pre-qualification flow. So the task logic based on that was prospects, customers, but also unclear intent. So for the prospects, it explains pricing, it highlights the features, and it offers to book a demo. If it's a customer, it can answer common questions, collect issue summaries, and then push them to Zendesk, which is the system that we use for creating tickets. You will see it shortly. And if there's unclear intent, or if it's a spam call, because that can happen, it tries to politely re-ask the questions like it did for me when it didn't understand me. And then if it understands me, it routes me to the other flows, or it ends the call politely if it's not able to understand. But to make this happen, it wasn't so easy. And that's what David wanted to basically say, because the first thing that we faced when it came to creating this task logic was the structure of the knowledge base. So yes, we have a help center and it has a lot of information in there. We have our website and it has a lot of information in there. But the thing with these is they're written in a way for someone who is viewing them, seeing the screenshots, seeing everything, understand them. And it's also a lot of knowledge that we just didn't want to just upload to the voice agent and hope for the best, but we wanted to give it clear instructions on what it needs to do, because I'll repeat again, this is an AI. So the first thing we needed to do was to structure our knowledge base. And I think this is going to be an issue for a lot of you that have complex services or products, and you have something that lives in internal documents. Just putting it all together in a way that the AI understands and can have a conversation, that's going to be the biggest lift in terms of setting up the voice agent. So we actually did it in several different steps. The number one step, we used Screaming Frog to crawl the website and actually extract all the content and pages that we had to give us some sort of content map so that we understand what we have available. And then we actually had a secondary source, which was deep research with ChatGPT, which works really well. And we merged it with the step one. So then we ended up with tons and tons of raw data and raw information that we needed to structure. So the tool we used was aistudio.google.com. And this actually uses Gemini. And we had a prompt, which you can see part of here. The prompt in this tool was actually to help us structure the knowledge, and we gave it the structure that we needed. So then once we had the structured knowledge, we exported it and we gave it to a human to the AI is not hallucinating. And then we uploaded that to the voice agent. So really, this was the biggest lift, and it took us the longest when it came to setting up the voice agent. And then the second step that we needed was, because of this flow, we needed the voice agent to be connected to HubSpot, and we needed it to be connected to Zendesk. Obviously, for the customers that are calling us, it can lead them to start a conversation via the dashboard, but we also wanted to make it easy for them to create a ticket right there on the spot. So we connected it to Zendesk, and this is how a ticket looks. Obviously, I redacted some of the information. So this is what the support team receives, and this is what we are sending the customer. Obviously, all of this is configurable, so you can configure it any way you want, and you can write it any way you want. And we did the same for HubSpot, where it basically, if someone is trying to book a demo, the voice agent can lead them, and it can create an opportunity for our SDR team in HubSpot. I'm sorry, my internet connection is unstable still, so I hope you can hear me. But we've seen, like, all of our calls that have come to our website have been answered. We had almost 1,300 calls since August, taking into account the seasonality as well, the fact that a lot of people were not there in August. This was great. A lot of these calls actually happened in September. 115 calls have been routed to support. So 115 people, 9% of these people actually wanted to have a ticket created by the voice agent, and they have been picked up by support. Then we had 12% of them turn into MQLs for our SDR team. So we had 155 people wanting to learn more and sent to the SDR team. And obviously, then we were qualifying them further. Around 3% converted to a sales qualified lead. So around 40 people that would otherwise not convert, or would convert later, or would just forget that they were browsing our page, we managed to capture them. And as I mentioned, we're still working with the voice agent. We're trying to optimize the prompt for the best possible experience. But so far, the results have been amazing. And keep in mind, before this, we didn't have anything. So all of these 150 leads and support tickets would not have been created. Okay, well, we're going to leave some time at the end for Q&A, but I just want to give you a couple of tips before we jump into the Q&A in terms of how you can approach building this for your website. And again, you can think about this both if you want to have numbers on your website, or maybe you want to test, I don't know, call campaigns, but you don't have the team to actually pick up the calls, or you want to test it in other places where you put a phone number, but you're not sure if you're going to have the capacity to do it over time, or for certain cohorts of clients, or for certain regions. So as you saw, we had multiple different numbers, and you can do it by number and by region. So what would steal from this session if we were you? Number one, you might be operating in a different industry, in different regions. So just think about what the experience you want for your clients is. And also, if people are landing on your website, what are they trying to achieve? So what questions would they have, and what sort of customers do you get? Then from there, you need to build a knowledge base. This is going to be, as I mentioned, the biggest lift, because most knowledge bases out there have not been built for AI voice. It's just AI voice is something quite new. So a lot of the answers that you have in your existing knowledge bases will need some additional work so that you have them structured for the AI voice agent. But you can use the tools that we used, or simply just ask ChatGPT to provide similar tools to these ones that you can use to do the same. Crawl your website, crawl your help center, and then structure it with the help of AI, and then give it to the AI voice agent. And then finally, what we would suggest you do is start with one number and one use case, test it, make sure that it works, make sure that it logs the tickets properly, make sure that it answers properly, and validate the value of it, and then expand to more numbers, more languages, more agents. So we just want to make sure that if you're testing this, you're approaching it one thing at a time, so that you can change the prompt, because if you roll it out everywhere at the time, then you're going to have to test it, make sure it works, and then expand from there. All that said, if you want to do it so we have both customers, we have some that are not customers here today. If you would like to do it with CloudTalk, you would have our team here to help you out with all of this and guide you through the process of what you need to do. Okay, and with all of that, we are jumping into the Q&A. And let me just open up the Q&A and see. Okay, how long does it take to get the AI agent customized? So in terms of customizing the prompt, it's really easy. The hardest part when it comes to a voice agent is you deciding what you want to do with it and the outcome that you want, as well as how you want to trigger it and where you want the data to flow. Once you have that figured out internally, we can help you build it quite easily, but you need to know what is the trigger you want. So in this case, it was a call on the website, and you can customize the prompt honestly in hours. It's very easy. So the actual time spent building the voice agents is just working on how do you want to trigger it, where do you want the data to flow, and what are the outcomes that you want from this voice agent. So I would say, depending on how complex your flow is, it can take a day or it can take a couple, depending on how you want to trigger it and then get it live. But yes, you would have help from our team. Okay, how many voice agents will be enough to cover the inbound? Honestly, you don't have to have different voice agents for the amount of calls that you're getting. You would get different voice agents for different use cases. So I would suggest if you have number of calls that you're making per day or per month, our team can help you calculate that really easily, how many minutes you would need and so on. But the voice agent would be built per use case, not for different per capacity. So one voice agent can handle however many calls you need. Does the feature allow integrations with ServiceNow? Have the voice agent to pick up certain calls and create a ticket through an API integration with agent is triggered, and then the way the voice agent then creates tickets is all through API. So we are triggering it via API, and then we are sending tickets wherever you need. For ServiceNow specifically, I need to check if we've had a client that already has this built. So I will confirm with you, George, but I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But it should be possible, yes. Okay, so how many languages are supported? Currently, we have around 60 supported languages and accents. So that means that within those 60, we have, for example, American English, British English, Australian English, and so on. We are supporting most bigger languages and the language groups. Okay, and I think that is about it. Oh, yes, there's one more about making calls. Yes, the voice agent can make calls. So it's not only taking calls, our voice agents can also make calls. So it's all going to depend on how you want it set up. Also, another thing for the inbound voice agents, which is really good, is that you can add it to the call flow. So if you've used the call flow before and you've seen it, you can actually add a voice agent as a step. It's visual, it's really smooth. If you're, for example, I don't know, an e-commerce provider that has peaks during Black Friday, let's say, and you're receiving a lot of calls and questions about transportation logistics and when the order is going to arrive. So you can potentially use a voice agent in your call flow to take those calls and also route them route the rest to the team. And you can use it for basically also for sales calls too, if you would like it to make them. Can we integrate the ticket creation with Intercom as we use Intercom instead of HubSpot? Yes, absolutely. You can. Also, another thing that we're working on for voice agents is we are going to push conversation intelligence data for voice agents in the top integrations that are most used in CloudTalk, including Intercom. So that's also coming. So that way you will be able to see also how the voice agent is performing against your human team. Okay, so I think that's about it. And we are at time. I will just let one more minute to see if there are any more questions.
Vera, if I may, I would like to maybe emphasize the fact that some of these things, especially the integrations, like the specific integrations with ServiceNow or the tools that we don't have the pre-made integrations with, might seem a bit complicated, but don't be afraid. Every single AI voice agent deployment that we do at CloudTalk is handled by a solutions engineer that we assign to your case. So we actually provide human technical support to help you deploy your voice agents. Don't be afraid, even with more complicated use cases.
And that would be it. See you next time. Next time is on October 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And we will be talking about voice agents that we have used with the sales team, specifically for leads that we don't have time to touch, or for leads from regions that are not qualified, and we need a pre-qualification layer to make sure that our sales team is actually spending time on qualified and quality conversations. So I hope to see you there then again, and until next time, bye-bye.